All right, you guys. So a couple different agenda items I posted in Slack. Just I would say probably since Labor Day, at least a lot of my coaching calls, I'm noticing a little bit of slowdown in leads or just activity in general in the business, not only my business, but a lot of people that I coach. But usually what I like to tell clients is like, there's no perfect magic bullet when it comes to marketing. It really takes like a multi-pronged approach to get consistent lead flow. And what I've used in the past, especially during some of the slower months as we get into the holiday season, I have bandwidth. If I'm not following up with leads coming in through Lasso, I'm typically proactively reaching out to past members or frozen people that are on freeze and seeing if I can reactivate them. How many people on this call are currently kind of experiencing a similar environment in their gym right now? It's kind of slowed down and we need to find other ways to keep the lead flow coming into the gym. Chad, you?
I,
Okay.
yeah, same with me. They've been
Okay,
slowing
Eli, I know
down.
you're crushing it, buddy. So yeah, you're keeping up with it. Matt, and you're crazy busy. Matt's had like 50 leads in 2 weeks, so he's crazy busy too.
Yeah.
So so you guys, we'll keep this to about 10 minutes. Chad and Kendall, you guys can bring me in on a little bit of what you're experiencing and what you've done with reactivation campaigns in the past, and then I can kind of give you my playbook of how I run it in my gym, and then obviously Eli and Matt, you guys can steal this. Okay, so let me share my screen here real quick. I'm not the biggest fan of PowerPoint, but let's just make it official today, you guys. Okay, so um, reactivation campaigns. So like in a perfect world, like all we're trying, what I've noticed in my gym. So first of all, I'm going to frame it this way. Like what I've noticed in my gym is, and I'm sure it's similar across you guys, is we go through these periods where there's ebbs and flows in the business where there's a lot of freezes or cancellations. And for me, I used to bang my head against the wall all the time to figure out why is this happening in my gym. And it took me, a decade of business ownership to finally land on the fact that a lot of times, you guys, like it's our own members are kind of just getting in their own way when it comes to sticking with something. Like we could have the best coaches in the world. We could have the best programming in the world. We could have the best systems, the best parties, the best whatever. And at the end of the day, you're still going to get some clients that are like, I'm too busy. My schedule doesn't allow for it. Things are hectic right now. We've all heard it, right? Is everyone on this call has heard something similar to that, right? Pretty much. I've never heard in the last, let's call it like 6 years, like everything you guys do is terrible. The coaching is miserable. Like the programming's like, it's never anything like that. It's always this like, just like things are kind of hectic right now. Right. So it used to bother me. What I've decided to do is trying to turn that on its head and just say, hey, look, in my mind, I expect this to happen in my gym every single month. There's only so much I can do to hold people's feet to the fire and try to keep them consistent with some sort of like fitness health routine. So once I kind of reframe my mind that way, I start thinking about, okay, how can I prepare for this? And I'm already thinking about what my next outbound communication to them is going to be. So the first thing I want to start with all of you guys is make sure, first of all, like your churn is reasonable. When I say reasonable, it's less than 6%. If we're still operating at like 10, 11% churn, the lever you really need to pull is probably tightening up the systems, the offer, the coaching, all that stuff. But if we're all living below 6%, there's an opportunity for us to look at past or frozen members and figure out a way to reactivate them, knowing that it's going to happen every single month. Okay. We know we're all going to hear these like, I'm just too busy. Okay. So, first of all, the first thing I want to make sure you guys are doing is, are we tracking this data somewhere? Like everyone on this call has a CRM system we're using, right? Push press, grow, Kilo, our version of Go High Level, whatever it is. Are we all on this call using CRM? Cool.
Yes.
Is everyone on this call making notes of people who are canceling or leaving? Do you guys have like a
Just,
process in place for doing it?
no, just by memory.
In memory, Kendall, how old are you?
42,
Okay,
43.
Kendall, like we're in
Oh,
the same
43.
boat. I'm 5 years younger than you, and my memory fades pretty quickly just because of bandwidth. So, like, if we can take that memory and place it somewhere, I think you're going to be a lot more successful. I can't even remember 48 hours ago, right? So, make
Yeah, I
sure you
agree.
guys are make sure you guys are taking notes when they're going outbound. Does anybody have like a an outgoing interview they do with people, or is it more just like you get a cancellation request, you're like, hey, I saw this came through, blah, blah, blah. Is that how most people roll?
We have a Google Doc that goes out in a return email with a link, and it asks a lot of brutally honest questions. So we do often get a lot of feedback on those.
Give like everyone here just some ideas. Like, what are kind of the questions that you ask, and what's some of the feedback that you get?
Well, the first thing we want to know is the most common reasons, and we tell them, we have a paragraph at the beginning. Please be brutally honest, because we want to continue to strive to, give you the best experience possible. And we have money, fitness is just not a priority, moving, or something else. And if it's something else, says please elaborate, and it reminds them, please be brutally honest.
Okay. And of that, Matt, how many people hit other and are brutally honest with you?
I would say most of the time, most of the things we're getting is fitness is not a priority, or I worked will be the common check marks, or it doesn't fit in my budget anymore. But we are getting stuff in the brutally honest part. And the brutally honest part, it's not a ton of people, but when we're getting feedback there, it's never like, well, that coach was unprofessional, the gym was dirty. It's more like, I don't think this type of exercise is for me. You guys do it awesome. It's your own thing. I'm going to go try Orange Theory. I like doing yoga. And it's never, all cancellations are bad, but we may had one real bad cancellation the last 2 years. That was like, that was our fault.
Yeah. Yeah. There's always one, right? There's always like, God, yeah, we need to tighten that up a little bit. Chad, what about you? Tell me a little bit about your process when you go through like either, hey, I'm canceling, or I'm going to go on pause for a while.
Yeah, so we have the same thing. We have a Google form that goes out asking questions, kind of like what Matt just iterated, but we don't have the part where it's an other right now. So that is a really good idea to put in there. And then I also make sure that I reach out and I have a personal conversation with them too, just to try and uncover anything. And it is usually like, hey, it's not a priority. It kind of fell out of the habit, which brings me back to thinking about what are we doing in the process to keep the habit going, to keep them engaged, to keep that kind of thing. So it doesn't become, oh, well, I haven't been in a month, so it's not really a priority anymore.
Love it. Yeah. So beautiful. You could take Matt's idea, plug that into your system, just see what kind of answers you get. Eli, what are you doing on your end?
I legit just hopped into the fitness industry here like 2 weeks ago with my brother, and so I'm just trying to learn. So I'm not I've been interacting with clients and stuff and communicating with them, but I haven't done anything in regards to working with people that have canceled memberships or stuff. So
no worries, man. So you got two really good gym owners that are going to be able to you're going to be drinking through a fire hose, which is good. It's a good way to learn sometimes. So awesome, guys. On the way out, when you guys go through that process of interview, in your mind, are you already thinking about the next touch point that you're going to have with these guys? Like, hey, if you said something along the lines of fitness isn't a priority, right? Have you guys thought about okay, if it's not a priority now, is there an opportunity for it to be a priority in the future? And is there a way for me to proactively kind of foster that within that relationship? Have you guys thought about that at all? Or do we just move on to the next thing for the most part?
Well, I don't want to sound like this is lazy, but maybe it is now that I'm hearing this. But they get put into our cancel member drip. Okay. And they're nurtured that way. But I just started all these cold calls, and I'm like, well, why don't we have that type of campaign in where we're recalling these people that said not a priority or schedule or something like that, and we don't do that.
And that's okay. This is just meant to get the wheels turning, and everyone runs their business a little differently. So if you see that there's an opportunity to be like, hey, whether it's putting a task in my calendar to say, hey, in 4 months, I'm going to follow up with this person, just say, hey, this is Matt from Newtown CrossFit. I know we had talked 4 months ago, it wasn't a priority. I was just thinking about you. I hope you're doing well. Let me know if you need anything. I wish you the best. Not a sales pitch, but just I was thinking about you, and then we move on with our day. Right. And then Chad, go ahead. Yeah.
Just real quick. One thing I do is when they fall off, they still get invited to all of our social events and all of our, things that we do just to kind of bring them back into the fold. So they still get invited to all that stuff as well.
That's great, right? It's not like hey, you're not my friend anymore. Like, it's more like, hey, like, I get it. Like, stuff comes up, but like, you're still going to hear from me. I'm still going to like pop my head out every once in a while and say hi. And you'd be surprised how just like a little bit of that, if you guys were able to pick up 1, 2 reactivations per month, just how much that accelerates everything else that you're already doing. So the way that I do it is like I kind of break it down into like a semi-annual or even like a trimester cadence. I'm not hounding these people every month, but like once every 3 to 4 months, I'll go through my list of cancellations. I'll hopefully have made notes as to what the reason was, and then I'll curate a personal message outbound that's just like, "Hey, this is Tommy from District 8 Strength and Fitness. I hope you're doing well. I know last time we talked, you said you wanted to kind of go revisit Orange Theory. I really hope that's working out for you. If not, let me know, and I might be able to help you and like point you in the right direction. Okay. Wish you the best. Take care. That's it. Right. It takes me about 5 minutes to do a bunch of these. I don't spend a whole lot of time doing it, but you could work through a list pretty quickly within about 30 minutes of work, let's say every 2 to 3 months. Okay. So sometimes during these slower months, if you guys are finding extra bandwidth, go through that list. It it makes a difference if you add a personal touch to it. If Matt texts me, it is so easy for me to blow him off. If Matt sends me a personal voice memo saying, dude, I'm taking the time to think about you and reaching out, and I don't respond, I'm going to be a huge asshole. And I know that. Okay. Like I'm at least going to respond to Matt if he's being personal with me. Does that make sense, you guys? Easy, right? Um, and then if you are going to get into like email campaigns, um, like those drips, like, hey, like you're on like our cancel drip campaign, maybe revisit those and see like, is it authentically coming from your voice? And then what's the offer to get them back in? Depending on what model you're running, Matt, I know you run like a discovery call. Depending on how they left your business, be like, hey, when we left, you were doing unlimited group fitness, we're offering 10% discount for this month or whatever you want to offer. Just get creative with it, but make it personal and apply it to them, and you're probably going to have a lot more success.
Yeah, and I just want to add to that two things. One, when I was with UpLaunch, there was this one text they sent out that got me the most responses ever. It was just titled, "Can I buy you a cup of coffee?" I didn't know it was there. It went out to ex members, and as soon as they responded, I said, "Why don't we have a call? And I'll give you a $5 gift card to a coffee place." Right. So we got a couple of those. The other thing is the resale on the cancellation. So when I always do this. If it's, I love your gym, I just don't have the time. What I do is we have a 30-day cancellation. So they're going to get dinged in their next billing and they have access to the facility. But what I'm willing to do is I'm willing to take that ding of 100, whatever it is, and I'll put it towards a 20-session punch card that has a 6-month expiration. So on the way out, and I am closing some of those, so it has been successful. That I'm saying, listen, you're going to get dinged. Let me credit it towards a punch card, and then you can still enjoy fitness with your friends if you decide to do so.
It's a great idea, man. That's awesome.
And that's working on the way out. If I really know, like, they're really not good. They just want to come to class every once in a while. They want to go do yoga and they want to go do, we live in a highly competitive market with fitness studios all over the place. So people have, I belong to this studio and that studio and that studio. So I try to get to that market as well.
Yeah. And again, like the long-term play here, you guys, is like, we understand that depending on where people are at in their fitness journey, like to Matt's point, like they're going to go in and out, like, hey, I just want to go do cycle bar for a while, or I just want to go like get into competitive Olympic, whatever it is. Right. Our goal here is to make ourselves kind of like the go-to resource in these people's lives when it comes to health. That's the long-term play. They may come in and out of our business, but they're always coming back to us and seeing us as like the expert to help guide them, even if they have seasons of life where they just want to go do yoga or something like that. That's the long-term play here. Okay. So just be mindful about the exit strategy. Just make sure you kill them with kindness. Matt, I like the idea of a discounted punch card, or you apply it to a punch card. All great ideas, you guys. So hopefully, does that all make sense, you guys? Did anyone else have anything to add? Anything you want to jam on before we move on to the next topic?
Matt, could you continue to talk about that punch card situation?
Yeah. So we don't sell punch cards up front because we're a PT first model. So we never sell a punch card. We sell frequency-based memberships with their personal training. However, after you've been with us, we feel comfortable with you dropping in every once in a while, right? If it's a twice a week or 5 times a month. So we have a punch card that's priced at like it's like 20 sessions for $399. and $89. It's got a 6-month expiration. So when you cancel, say you want to cancel your membership with me, your next billing date is next week. That's less than 30 days notice. So you're going to get billed for next week. You have no plans to use my gym, but you're going to get billed for that whole month. So what I'll say to them is, we'd like to keep you on with us, even if it's intermittently. So why don't we do this and apply that $169 membership towards the $389 punch card, and we'll start that today. And then that's a punch pass. We have visitor passes, but then we have a 20-session punch pass and we have a 10-session punch pass. And I mostly sell the 20-session ones.
Nice, man. It's a good time.
So they can just pop in whenever.
Well,
they cancel the membership with those 20 sessions.
They can pop in because now they don't have a monthly reoccurring bill, right? They only paid one time, a lump sum for 20 sessions, and they pop in just via everyone else, via class reservation and booking and stuff. So you still have to book their spot in class. Our system will take away punches as they use their sessions. And what happens is either two things are going to happen. They're not going to use those 20 sessions. They're not, right? They're true. They didn't have time to do it. Or they're going to come back and be like, actually can come. Let me just go back on my unlimited. I'm coming too much. So one of those two things ends up happening.
Either way, Matt, you are creating an opportunity for you to continue the relationship and engage with them, right? That's literally which I love. That's a great idea.
Yeah, and these people are also buying retail, buying apparel. Yeah. We also have a late cancellation for classes. Like, we charge for late cancellations within a certain amount. That's a revenue stream for us. I don't want to sound sleazy, but number one KPI of good gyms is people attending classes. So if they're $100-something a month membership is not keeping them in your class, the $10 ding on the late cancel will. It's crazy how that will keep someone in class, but you don't want to come and you paid $169 a month. So we have a bunch of things that are keeping these people in there, is making us other money other ways.
Awesome, guys. All right. Are we good here, guys? We're good to move on?
I will say that I've done something a little bit similar, because we do have a 30-day cancellation as well. And sometimes, like, they're about to be charged, and instead of ending on a bad note where they have to pay for another 30 days, they can't come in, I'll actually tell them, well, I have no choice. You do come back. They basically kind of just paid for it. And that's kind of my way of trying to get them back in the gym. And they're like, oh, a month free. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. And then they're happy and they like me.
Yeah. And again, like, for us, you guys, like, even if we have to give away something for quote unquote free or discount, we don't care, right? Like, we know, like, the long-term game here is keeping them as a client for as long as, that's how we win at this game, is keeping our clients long-term. Okay. Let's pivot now to direct DMs and social media. So, this is a strategy. Like, when you guys think about your sales funnel, at the very top, we got cold leads, which I hate to say it, but that's what Lasso's kind of pumping into your system, right? Like, we're interrupting people's days and pushing stuff through the top. Now, every once in a while, you guys are going to get people that get pushed through the top, and then they end up actually liking your Facebook or Instagram page as well. And when you get that opportunity, that tells me it's a little bit warmer than just being plain, hey, I gave you my information, I'm never going to talk to you again. Okay. So what I wanted to kind of walk you guys through is, when you're looking at your social media pages or accounts, I want you to start paying attention to who's following you and who's actually liking your content that's not like members, right? Because those are opportunities for you to kind of like reach out in a non-salesy way and just like start adding some personality behind your business. So what I'm actually going to do, you guys, is I'm going to share my screen here. All right. Can you guys see this? So this is a lead that literally came in right before we all jumped on this call. She signed up through a Lasso Facebook ad, and then I noticed that she was following our account. She came in at like 2:28. I messaged her right at 2:30, right? Like, I'm in Central Time, right when this phone call started. And this is all I said. Let's see if we can, let me know if you guys can hear this.
Hey, yes, sir. This is Tommy from District A Strength and Fitness. I just saw your information come through for our 12-week strength program. Let me know if you have any questions. Would love to connect with you, just learn more about you, see if we're a good fit for what you're looking for. And if for whatever reason we're not a good fit, I can definitely point you in the right direction. Okay? Take care.
Everyone hear that? Just a way for me to add like, hey, you don't know me from, like Adam, right? I saw you came in through the ad and I saw you're following my stuff. I had literally 10 seconds to record that and say, hey, I'm introducing myself. I'm an actual person you're talking to. Let me know if you guys want to engage. Okay. Just one example of the things that you guys can do. But if you're going through like, hey, I noticed that this person's liking a lot of our organic content and they're not a current client, that's just something to make note of. And if you have 5 minutes at the end of the week, try to start a conversation like this through DM and see if you can get a conversation going with them of like, hey, I noticed you've been following our content for quite a bit of time. That's awesome. I would love to learn more about you. I know nothing about you other than you like my stuff. Let me know, like kind of like what Matt, what you're saying. If I could buy you a cup of coffee, if you want to jump on a phone call, like whatever it is, just a non-invasive way of saying, how can I add value to your life? That's all I'm interested in, right? Does that make sense, you guys? Is anyone on this call currently doing something like this? Just an idea. And again, this is like in this theme of like, as things slow down, if you're noticing like, hey, I don't have as many like outbound calls I need to make with these leads coming in through Lasso. I have an extra 5 to 10 minutes. Hop in your Instagram and it'd be amazing how many people you guys can cover in like 10 minutes and just see if you can get a conversation going. Okay. And then what I typically do, boom, 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 going back to here. At the end of each month, I will touch base with any followers who didn't reply to the original message and plug in, hey, we're running a community workout. Hey, we're doing this social event. There's this promo. Hey, I was just whatever it is, just be like, hey, we have a couple of spots left for this month in terms of like discovery calls. Would love to book one with you just to kind of reserve your slot. Let me know if you're free. Something as easy as that. Okay. Does that make sense, you guys?
I just have a quick question, Tommy. Where are you putting your reminder tasks for these Instagram folks? Is this on your personal Google Calendar? Where is this going to have a system of like, I need to follow with these people that said something?
You just switched over to Push Brush Grow, right, Matt?
I did.
So I will set tasks in there because they're also coming in through there through the Lasso lead. So I'll literally go to their contact information and put a task reminder.
Gotcha. You know what I noticed? So I do that, but I'm only getting the they're only coming in that way if they actually say something to me. Like so if someone follows me, I have to go on my Instagram account and go see that manually. I can't do that through Grow. That person's not a lead yet. If they didn't, if they're an
I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So I'll create the contact and Grow, create the task, and then and then I will connect with them and manually through Instagram. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Chad, Eli, do you guys have any questions about that? Cool.
No, it's a great idea though.
Yeah, sorry, Chad. So yeah, and the more personal you guys can make, guys, in the day of automation, like just be a human being. Like just connect with people. Like you'd be surprised how if you're just authentic and just saying, hey, look, I'm not here to sell you anything. You saw something we put out. I would love to see if I can help you. And if I can't, I will refer you to someone who can help you. People are gonna love that. Okay. So if you guys have the 5 minutes, try it and see if you guys can pick up any traction. Okay. Beautiful. Let's talk about small tweaks to our sales pitch.
Question for you, Tommy.
Yes, sir.
Regarding like the voice, the how you reached out to her via like using the voice recording, whatever. Do you find that to be way more effective than just a text?
Yeah, Eli, like I told Matt, if you send me a text, I'm like, I mean, gosh, dude, we're in like election season. I'm getting blown up about stuff I didn't even know I signed up for, right? Like I'm gonna just blow anything off that's like, I don't have to respond and there's no consequences to it. If you send me something like a video or a voice and I don't respond, I'm gonna feel like a huge asshole, like honestly, because I know you took the time. It wasn't a machine talking to me. So I've seen it to be a lot more effective, and at least getting a response. Because remember, like we win with yeses or nos. We die in the maybes, right? That's what we're trying to get rid of as much as possible.
Okay.
Cool. All right, guys.
Thanks.
Yeah, no worries, man. Small tweaks to our sales pitch. Okay. I actually picked this up like 4 years ago, and a lot of this came from my own scarcity mindset around there's not enough leads, there's not enough money for my business to be competitive. Like it's like the zero-sum game where if I'm losing, someone's winning and vice versa, right? And obviously as I got more mature in business, I started to understand that like there's plenty of opportunity for us, you guys. And once I switched my mindset from I don't care if I get the sale or not. Like I'm just going to start from a place of can I help somebody? And if I can, that will lead to higher conversions. And if I can't, it's not a big deal. And I've seen a lot of success in my own business by just reframing it that way. Okay. As much as I'd love to like, you know, create as much opportunity as possible for my staff, for my business, I just authentically come from a place of coaching and not like hard sales. And so what I want you guys to think about is like reframing your role in the sales conversation is almost like a doctor offering a prescription versus like a salesperson trying to close a transaction. Okay. And the first thing that you can do to make like a small tweak to your sales process is elevating your status within this conversation. And so what I mean by this is let's say Matt comes into the system and I'm like, I respond quickly because we know quick responses typically get the best action. And I reach out to Matt and I say, hey, Matt, this is Tommy from District A Strength and Fitness. We have this 12-week strength program where I'm going to get you super jacked and strong and your life's going to be amazing. And Matt's just like, whoa, dude, like way too much, right? On the other hand, if I come across and say, hey, Matt, like I saw your information come through. I just want to reach out and introduce myself. Just want to see if I can help you and learn more about you. And if for whatever reason I can't, I'll make a referral somewhere else, right? And how that comes across to the consumer is I don't need your business. Like I'm not going to die on this cross. Like I'm not going to force myself to have to close this. Like I'm okay walking away from this transaction if there's not mutual benefit here. And automatically you're going to elevate yourself in the mindset of the consumer to say, "Oh, like this person's not needy. They're just genuinely trying to help me." Right? Does that make sense to you guys? Do you guys approach your sales conversations like this right now? Yeah. It's just I think sometimes, and I notice this a lot with like younger gym owners, it's like we get so tied to like, oh my God, I need this business. And it's like you don't. And sometimes it makes more sense to walk away from it if it's genuinely not a good fit. But for most of us, because our marketing, like all of us on this call probably do an incredible job marketing, it is a good fit. We just need to figure out how we want to curate our message to help speak to the problem we're trying to solve. Okay. So asking a lot more questions is going to help you uncover what the true problem is in a very like relaxed and comfortable environment. If people are like, hey man, like I'm not interested, I just wanted to submit my information, but blah blah blah, I'd be like, hey, not a problem, man. If you know in the future it makes sense for us to talk, you know how to get a hold of me, and I look forward to hearing from you, right? And just walking away from it. Those small little tweaks, you're going to notice that people are going to respond differently because they're like, this guy isn't a salesperson. He's trying to learn about me, seeing if he can help, and if he can't, it's no big deal. There's no risk in anything, right? We're not hard selling anybody. I know this is kind of very high level, but did anyone want to role play this? Did you guys have anything to add? Anything you guys want to talk about in regards to this?
I keep my when I started working with you guys, it was kind of my first experience in the constant cold calling. And what I had to do was I was actually terrible at it the first week. And the more I just kept on getting on the phone, better I got at it. And what I found really helped was I changed my mind frame, just kind of like what you're saying is, remember, they clicked on something. So, hey, my name is Matt. I'm the owner of CrossFit Newtown. The reason I'm calling you because you seem to have some interest in my gym, and I'm just looking for the opportunity to have you come check us out and see if we have a program that fits your needs. Yeah. And that's kind of like my opening. And they're like, then I can elongate the conversation because they're like, now's not a good time for me to schedule. I'm busy right now. And then you simply have to ask them, when would be a good time to contact you? And set it in your task and contact them then. But, sometimes like people, I just clicked on an ad, that I don't really know what I was doing. And I just ask them a simple question, like a this or that statement. Is fitness a priority for you right now? Or is it just something that would be nice to have?
Yeah.
And sometimes that extends my conversation. I'm able to pivot a couple different directions, but I try to ask questions, this or that, help really, really well for me. I've been surprised all my consults, we used to let people just self-book, like automate, self-book, go. And I'm surprised with the number of consults that we're booking. Actually, all the consults we've booked have been by phone.
That's awesome, man. I love that. Just kind of like seeing how you can just keep extending the conversation without coming across as like, I'm trying to sell you anything. one thing I would maybe suggest adding to the end of that. Let's say we get to the end of that conversation and they're like, yeah, man, I'm like, it's not really a priority right now. It looked cool. Like your ad looked super cool. The guy in the photo was super jacked. I'd love to look like that someday, but I'm not making any decisions right now. But like, hey, not a problem. If you follow our Instagram page, we put out a lot of good content. Just start there. And if it ever makes sense for us to connect, you know how to get a hold of me. And then going back to the previous slide, you now have an opening for more personalized voice memos that are like a little bit less weird, right? If you got a voice memo from a complete stranger coming through text, that's kind of aggressive. If you threw it through Instagram of like, hey man, you followed my page, I'm just following up with you, but hope you're doing well. It's a little bit less aggressive just because most people aren't so tied to Instagram. If you text me right now with a voice memo, I'd be like, that is very aggressive, form of communication. Does that make sense, you guys? Just a small little tweak you can add to that. Chad, did you have anything to add, sir? Anything you want to jump in on with this? Okay, cool. Awesome, guys. Last thing, call script for cold leads from Lasso. So you guys, like, this is just a framework for us. This isn't like do it to the T. But there's two scripts I like to use when I do outbound calls. And it's everything that we've kind of been talking about. But the two that I like to use are the frame and the delay. And depending on how the person got a hold of me and like how I see the interaction going, I'll pick one or two or test both throughout the week just to see what kind of response that I get. So the frame is everything that we've been talking about. I'm the doctor. I'm going to provide a prescription. I'm just here to help. I'm here to learn more about you. So again, hey, Susie, this is Tommy from District A Strength and Fitness. I saw your information come in about your interest in our 12-week straight program. I just had some basic questions for you to see if we're even a good fit for what you're looking for. Did you have a quick 5 minutes? Going back to Matt's point, let's just see if we can elongate this conversation. Yeah, I got 5 minutes. Perfect. And if for whatever reason I'm not a good fit for you, I can always point you in the right direction. Does that sound good? Yeah, that sounds awesome. Okay, cool. And we're off and running to the races, right? Always give yourself the out of like, if I'm not the right person, I'm at least going to add value to your life today. I'm at least going to say, hey, if you're not looking for what we do, go check out the folks over here because I have a feeling they're exactly what you're looking for. And if it ever makes sense for us to connect, you know how to get a hold of me, right? Blah, blah, blah. So that's the frame. Okay. Now, if I notice that I'm getting a lot of like, no, I don't have 5 minutes, no, blah, 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 whatever, then I'll start experimenting with what I call the delay. So this is more like trying to frame it as I'm introducing myself. We're not going to have this conversation right now, but we're going to have it in the near future. So this is how this goes. So I say, hey, Susie, this is Tommy from District A Strength and Fitness. I saw your information come in about our 12-week strength program. I actually have to hop into a personal training session in the next 5 minutes, but I just wanted to introduce myself so you know you're talking to a real person. Are you free in 30 minutes for us to connect? And all that's doing is me saying, hey, real person here. We're not talking about anything right now. My time is very valuable and I'm busy. I need to go do something. But are you free in 30 minutes? And we can actually have a conversation about this, right? Because sometimes when people enter their information, I respond within 5 minutes. They're like, holy shit, like this is a lot. I'm just like, hey, real person here. Thank you so much for your interest. Would love to jam with you on this. I got to go take care of my one-on-one client. Can we connect in 30 minutes? Off and running to the races.
Right.
Any questions about that, you guys? Does that make sense? Like have you guys tried anything like this before?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Chad, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. So obviously,
Oh, sorry, Chad, you're breaking up, bud.
Chad. Can't hear you, Chad.
Yeah. The earpods, man. It's hit or miss. It's so annoying.
Yeah, can you guys hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I got a class in the background, but yeah, these AirPods sometimes are good, sometimes they're pain.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hey, do you do this in spite of the workflows that come through Lasso on the lead in persons? Are you jumping the automation, or are you waiting for a first response from that and then you're jumping in with this information?
It depends. So like that automation will go out, right? So like if the automation goes out and I call, I know that can seem very overwhelming, but I have found that as long as I'm responding within the first 15 minutes, regardless of automation, I haven't seen like a dude go F yourself or like, oh, this is a great conversation. There's been no correlation. So I just try to stick to my process of no matter what, call them within 15 minutes. Yeah. Now, to your point, Chad, if it's been an hour and you review the workflow, you could also add a spin to this and say, hey, this is Chad. I know we've been texting. I thought it might just be easier to call. Like, do you have a quick 5 minutes to blah, blah, blah? You can also play around with that a little bit. And again, guys, this is just a framework. This, like, you don't have to like take it to a T, but just be thinking about like, hey, I'm just trying to come across as you're talking to a real human being. And if I have a feeling like this feels like a lot of pressure to this person, I'm going to switch to the delay tactic and just see if I can like bring them back down just a little bit.
Tommy, what were you saying with the 15-minute? What was that?
Yeah, so like I try to, so Eli, what you'll learn quickly do when it comes to lasso leads, like if you can respond within 15 minutes, the probability of you having a conversation goes up exponentially. If you wait even like an hour or two, it gets cold real quick. So like, I know it sucks to say that because we all feel like we're probably tied to our phones all day, but it's just kind of the name of the game of what we're playing. So like, if we're all getting 2 to 3 leads a day, it shouldn't be too hard to have quick conversations, right? As long as it's not an hour long, it's 10 minutes. But yeah, speed to phone call, speed to conversation is the name of the game.
Right on.
Yeah. Matt, Kendall, anybody, anything you guys wanted to add to this? Or we're all good here?
Yep.
No, I need to start doing that. I used to do that with the previous marketing company. They actually all got a little video that I would pre-record for the morning, and it would just be like, hey, this is Kendall. And I'd kind of wave at them, just introducing myself, wanted to tell you hi, and I would send it. I'd use the same one over and over again, but it looked like I was just doing it like right then and there. Hey, I'm at the studio. I have a few minutes. I wanted to, tell you hi real quick. And I would do that. And that worked really well. But since I've been with Lasso, I've kind of been letting the automations take over, and I haven't done any of that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's okay. And like, I tried using video, and what I noticed is every time I sent a video, you know how it gives you like a freeze frame right when you send it? My face would look so bad. Like, it would just look terrible. So I was like, I'm going to stick to voice memos because for whatever reason, I can't get my face correct. So we'll stick with that. But Kendall, if that's like your natural, like that's where you're comfortable, have at it. Like if I got a voice memo for you saying, hey, this is Kendall from, hybrid training. Like I want to learn more about you. I'd be like, hey, that's awesome. She took 10 seconds out of her day to actually connect with me.
Yeah. Okay.
You're still going to get the people that are like, no, Kendall, F off. I don't care, which is, that's part of the game. Yeah.
What I was trained before is I would tell them, here's my cell phone number. And I don't like doing this anymore, but I used to. They would be in my CRM, but then I'd message them, hey, I'm going to send you a message from my cell phone. And it was typically an iPhone, and they can see that I'm typing. They can see that I'm a real person.
Yeah.
And I would send them a message, hey, I left my work phone at work. I wanted to message you real quick from my cell phone. Message me here. And they would kind of be like, oh, wow, you're real. You gave me your cell phone number. Yeah. I feel special now because I have your cell phone number, Yeah.
All right, you guys. Role play. Is anybody on this call having issues with their sales pitch? Or would like to refine it or get better or just get a second opinion about it? Eli, should we throw you into the fire, dude, since you're the newbie?
I mean, we can.
Okay. How about this? Let's do this. You're going to be Eli, and then Matt's going to be the prospect, and Matt, just be typical client avatar you usually talk to. And let's give it a go, Eli. And then obviously you got me, Chad. Chad's been doing this a long time. We'll give you feedback. Matt will give you feedback. Matt's a great salesman, and we'll just make each other better. Okay.
Okay.
All right, let's do it, man. So you're calling Matt.
Wait, so I'm calling Matt, and
Matt just entered his info. Hey man, I clicked on your 12-week strength ad. I'm interested. You see his info come in, you pick up your phone, you call Matt. Let's hear it.
Okay. Hello, Matt. This is Eli Hernan from Town Athletics, and I just received your information, and I just wanted to connect with you. Do you have a few minutes to chat here? I have an opening in 30 minutes. Could you connect then?
I won't be able to connect today, and I'm at work right now. I'm really, really busy. Is there do you have any other availability?
Uh, what is your what are your usual pockets of availability in your days?
Well, calling me after work would probably be the best option, and that's usually after 5 p.m.
Okay, I'd be willing to make a little time for that this evening.
Perfect. Cut. Matt, give
Yeah.
feedback.
All right.
Go for it.
So here's the thing. I'm gonna ignore you when you call at 5:30 p.m. I'm gonna ignore you.
Okay.
The reason I'm gonna ignore you is because I don't know why you're calling. You got my information, but there wasn't a why, what you have to offer, what I'm interested in, and I'm probably giving you that 5:30 time slot because I'm not gonna call, right? Or I'm not gonna answer your call, right?
Okay.
So I need to be a little bit more warmed up as far as like and not really into it. You're not giving me the science. We do barbell lifts or we do highly metabolic focused workouts. I need to know kind of short, like I have a program, if you're interested, that could possibly change your life. Can you give me just 10 minutes of your time to see if we have a program that fits your needs? And you know, that's a yes, no question, right? And sometimes you're gonna get, well, actually, my comeback to that would be, you know, I clicked on the ad. I'm not really interested right now, and you know, I just don't think there was anything that I gave you. I'm busy and I'm going to ignore you at 5:30. That's what's going to happen.
Okay.
So Matt, let's pause there real quick. So
Right.
what's one thing Eli could have done where you feel like it could have roped you in just like a little bit more outside of like, hey man, I got 10 minutes to talk to you about, you know, what you clicked on. Like, does that sound fair? Yes, it sounds fair. Okay, cool. Like what else could he have done to like kind of bring you into the conversation a little bit more?
Right. So I'm not going to blow him off. And I found that this worked is we don't know each other yet, but like, why do you need my time? You need my time because I want to get to know you to see if we're a good fit to work together. Because remember, it's not just me looking at your gym, it's you looking at me as a client.
Mm-hmm.
And you could be that picky, or at least act like you're that picky, right? Like you need to, like, we need to decide if this is going to fit on both parties. Like something in like what I said before to give me like, okay, now this sounds interesting. You know, so I just need a little bit more warm me up, make me feel comfortable, make me feel human. Don't make me feel like you're reading off a teleprompter, and, you know, make it sound more conversational.
But Eli, that was a really good first go, man. Like I know like this is not like normal or comfortable. The other thing I would say too, man, like, and I used to be super nervous when I was making these calls, is just take a big breath before you call. Just like, hey man, no pressure. I'm just gonna talk to this guy. I'm talking to Matt. Okay. Worst case scenario, Matt calls me a piece of shit and tells me to F off, and he's not gonna think about me 5 minutes later, and I'm not thinking about him 5 minutes later. That's the worst case scenario. Best case scenario, I can change this guy's life. Okay. So let's just give it a shot and see what happens, right?
Because remember, you got to put yourself in the mindset. They're scrolling on the internet, and when you scroll on the internet, what you find is things that are issues in your life come up more because you're clicking on them, right? So it's deeper than this person wants to lose 10 pounds, and you kind of got to ask those questions subliminally, you know. And that's why most people are looking at these things about fitness, 12-week, because they don't feel good about themselves. They don't feel good, and you want to make them feel better. And you have to be that passionate about it in the call. It doesn't have to be long. Doesn't have to be more than 30 seconds. But you have to get to the point. I'm only calling you because I want to make a major impact in your life. That's it. And when it comes to that passionate and that sincere, you're going to at least, I always look, my goal is to elongate my first goal is to book a membership consultation. Second goal is to elongate the conversation. So, and the more you do it, the better you get it, and just have those ready-made, like what main things do I need to say to them to get them to book this call or book this membership consultation?
Yeah. All right. Now let's flip the role. So Eli, you are the prospect. Okay. You just submitted information to Matt. Matt's going to give you the pitch, and we'll go from there. Okay. So Matt, take it over when you're ready, buddy.
All right. Hey, Eli, this is Matt.
Wait, give me 1 second. I want to write something down real quick.
Okay.
And then Chad, did you want to kind of refine your pitch too a little bit today?
But I'm
Okay.
You're good? Okay. All right, Eli. All right. So Matt, take it from the top, man.
Got it. Hey Eli, how you doing? This is Matt from CrossFit Newtown. I'm just giving you a call. We don't know each other yet, but I see you got some interest in our gym, and we have a bunch of programs that you might be interested in that fit your needs. So let me ask you this: does AM or PM work better for your schedule?
AM.
AM, great. So what times work for you? You talking early AM, 6:30 AM, 9:30 AM, 11 AM? Do any of those sound like you'd be able to come in for a consultation?
Let's go 6:30.
6:30 AM? Perfect. Book consult.
So Eli, you made it really easy for him, right? It's okay. That's right.
Okay.
That's like awesome layup. Now, Eli, give him some friction. Okay, push
Okay.
back a little bit and watch how he handles it. Okay,
Okay.
from the top, Matt. When you're ready, buddy.
Okay. Hey Eli, how you doing? This is Matt from CrossFit Newtown. We don't know each other yet, but I would like to get to know you. It seems like you've had some interest in my gym, and the reason I'm calling today is see if we have the opportunity to bring you in for a membership consultation. Does AM or PM work better for your schedule?
I have a busy schedule and stuff. What are your class offerings?
Well, we offer over 40 classes a week, and we do our consultations during the classes. We have classes from 5:30 a.m. up to 12 noon in the morning, and then we come back in the PM from 4:30 to 8:30 at night. We're even here on weekends from 7:15 to 11:15. Do any of those time blocks work in your schedule?
I don't know exactly how I want to respond to
You're
Okay.
missing.
No, you're good, buddy. So basically, like, it doesn't matter what you say necessarily.
Yeah.
Right? Like, no, not right now, man. I'm not interested. Like Matt, you and I can go. So I say, hey, Matt, you just finished with your class schedule. Yeah, you know what? Like, I clicked on an ad. I'm not really interested right now. I just wanted to give my information, but like, now's just not a good time.
Well, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What are you doing for fitness currently?
I've been going to Planet Fitness. I've been trying to lift weights. That's kind of been my routine.
And are you happy with the results you're getting?
Nah, it is what it is. It's Planet Fitness, right? Like I pay my $10, I get free pizza. It's, I'm not really getting the results I want.
Well, listen, we only exist for people that have problems we can solve. And it sounds to me like you've been going to a gym and you haven't really been reaching the goals that you wanted, and you scrolled and clicked on our ad. So something about our ad or our website has you interested in our gym. Is that true at least?
I mean, yeah, kind of true, I guess. Yeah.
So why people come to gyms like ours? Because we're a coaching service. So what's different about that than most gyms is because you're going to have a coach 120% behind you, making sure you don't fail. Do you have that currently right now at Planet Fitness?
Perfect, Matt. Pause. So Eli, what did you notice the difference was? So he answered my question. I'm going to go through the typical BS, right? Like, I just don't have time. I'm not really all that in, blah, blah, whatever. It doesn't matter. Did you notice what Matt did?
He was pressing you with questions that made you think about whether your involvement in the other gym that you were going to is really been good for you.
Correct. So like, to sum that up, right? Like Matt just got curious. That's all he did. Hey man, like, you're going to hit me with all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, cool. Let me just cut right through it and just ask a very simple question. If you don't mind me asking, like, what are you currently doing? And see if he can elongate the conversation. Again, at any time, I could tell Matt to go F off. He's fine with that, right? But if he can at least extend the conversation and keep adding small bits of value, and again, Matt's got a certain style, I got a certain style, you got to kind of find your style on these calls. It's all okay as long as you're learning and speaking directly to the problem. Because by asking questions, especially someone like me, where I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm all over the place. Matt's going to get to the heart of what the real problem is very quickly, speak to it, and then see if it, again, he's willing to walk away, but he is at least like, hey, the real problem is it sounds like you need maybe some structure and accountability. Here's how we can solve that problem for you. easiest way to get started with me, dude, is let's just book a consult and just see if I'm a good fit. Done. Right?
And just to go on the F off part, that's the only thing that stops me. My new cold leads get no less than 5 phone calls. No less than 5 phone calls, all in successive days. So just for example, Molly, who I just closed the other day, Molly did not pick up my call for 4 days in a row. I called 9:30, I called 12:30, I called 5 p.m. Did not pick up my call. Got my automation drip campaigns, got my text messages. Then I called and she's like, Matt, I've been meaning to call you. I got your messages, but I saw your number and I had to pick up. And she just started spilling. She's like, I hate working out. Perfect. Love that. Because now I'm going to make you love working out because that's one of the problems we can solve. So you got to keep on calling, and F off is not just I left you a voicemail. And F off also shortens your list. If it's a true F off, I'm not interested. Don't call me. It's annoying. Fine. Put you on my do not call. That's fine. You're not interested. But and you got to be able to take an F off.
Yeah.
Chad, bring you into this a little bit, buddy. Like, are you running into any common objections right now? Are you getting anything like any trend of like the price? It's the non-commitment. It's the anything you're experiencing right now?
He must not have his
No, he said just give him a
mic.
He just chatted.
He said more of a price objection.
Okay, cool. And Chad, remind me, you're running like HSN nutrition. We got 2 tiers, right? Like 2 different types of pricing. Or did you go with the 3? You go with 2? Okay. How are you handling the price objection? I'm guessing you're getting it in multiple ways, right? I can't afford it. I got to talk to my spouse. Now's not a good time. Let me think about it. All price objections typically, right? Go in the chat. Childlike curiosity. Tell me more about that. Okay. Do you get the feeling? Oh, okay. Gotcha. What are you comparing the price to? Okay. So like you go through and you're saying, and I know you follow like the HSN approach. So it's kind of like, hey, based on what you're telling me, I think this program is going to work really, really well for you. This is going to help you address X, Y, and Z problems that you're having with your health. This is the price. What do you think? Is that how the conversation's going? And you genuinely believe like that top shelf program, which is Fitness Plus Nutrition, really will solve the problem, right?
Yeah, the music just cut off for a quick break. Yes, I tell them, hey, I put their financial biases on them and say, hey, this is what I think is the best, A plus B that'll get you where you need to be.
Okay. And then the common response is, yeah, did they straight up tell you that's out of my budget or that sounds expensive?
Yeah, they're like, that's awfully a lot of money, a lot more than I expected. And I also try to limit the use of budget because that's limiting.
Yeah.
I talk about your funds, funds, because funds are always available. Budget means this is the most
Correct.
I can use.
Yeah.
And what I have recently tweaked is one of the things I do is now that big price, I've made it into biweekly payments as well.
Nice.
So then I approach them with that. And usually that will be a lot more easy for them to swallow on a biweekly basis than a monthly one.
Now, do you ever say, okay, like let's say we biweekly, the more expensive program, will you ever downsell?
Only if it's an absolute, like, hey, absolutely, I'll reach out to you, but hey, just in case, if this is a hard stop, I want to let you know about this option as well. It's not the most effective, it's not the fastest, but it will work.
Okay.
And then I let them think about that on the way out.
And do you typically close better with the downsell? Will you at least get a commitment to something?
No, usually if they are going to commit, they commit to the higher tier price because I play it down like you're still going to spend money. It's just not going to be as effective for your money. And
cool. Okay, fantastic. So some small tweaks that we can make, right? So let's say I come in and like, okay, dude, like you need to lose 40 pounds, get in great shape. You've been out of shape for a while. As much as I would love for you to just hit these workouts and get strong, we both know the other 23 hours of the day is where we're going to win this, right? It's where we're going to conquer this mountain. You present it to me, I say, you know what? Yeah, that's a little bit of a stretch for me. Okay. One thing you can play around with a little bit is to say, hey, like, I understand. Okay. Totally understand. Acknowledge the fact that like they said something, they're worried about something. It's mainly about trust and money, which is fine. Acknowledge it and then be like, hey, the other way that we can do this, okay? How about we just get you started with fitness only right now? But let's commit to doing InBodies every 2 weeks. And I just want to make sure, like, if you're not getting the results that you want, maybe we revisit this conversation around fitness plus nutrition later on down the road. How does that sound? Right? So I wouldn't frame it as being like a lesser of service. It's more of like, hey, I just want to get you started in something. And how about we just start here? But let me prove to you that we have great workouts and that you are going to start seeing results. But if you're not happy with the pace of the results that you're getting, how about we revisit this conversation with nutrition later on down the road? How does that sound? That sounds fair. Cool. Right. And how big of a price difference, Chad, is your like fitness plus nutrition plus fitness only?
so our fitness plus nutrition is about $170 more expensive per month.
Okay. So that's significant, right? That's a pretty good chunk. So, yeah, that's the other way that you can play this, just to say, like, acknowledge the fact that they're having a pricing objection. Because what that really is like, Chad, I don't trust you that you can deliver on that much value for me willing to spend it. That's okay. That's fine. How about this? How about we just get started with fitness? Come in here. I want you to get started with something. Okay. And I know that you're going to love our group sessions or, whatever you're going to be running. And let's revisit this conversation later on down the road. And if you're like, hey man, like I'm getting stronger, I don't really have the body composition that I really want to desire. Okay, not a problem. Then we can have the conversation about nutrition. What do you think about that, Chad? Does that sound like something you like? Does that sound authentic? Like you could say something like that, and you're like, yeah, like that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, that's a little better worded than the approach I was taking with it, but it was the same concept of, because we do, whether they come in fitness or not, the first 90 days gets the InBody, gets the conversation going about body composition, nutrition, all those things. So, but I did like the twist that you put on it for sure.
Okay, as long as you feel like it's authentically coming from you, because you could probably tell like Matt and I have slightly different styles, but as long as that's who Matt is, right? So he's going to sell that way. He's going to do really, really well. If I try to put you in this bubble of like, Chad, you have to say it this way, it's not going to be great, dude. Like, so as long as you feel like you're like, yeah, that sounds like me, I can say something along those lines, you'll be successful. You'll be good. Cool. Guys, we're over time. If you guys need anything, I'll send out this recording in the Slack message. Thank you guys for participation. Love the conversation today. If you guys need anything like ideas, you guys need to role play some more, whatever it is, just hit me up in Slack and we'll keep this train rolling, okay?
Awesome. Thank you,
man. See you guys.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Bye.
Thank you.